Welcome to Badgers, Bards, and Bad Decisions, an actual play of Pathfinder 2nd Edition's AbominationVaults by Critts&Giggs. Next time, they'll slay monsters and press record, but this time we'll start with the time-lapse, followed by a player recap. You'll hear this sound when one of the players crit, and this one when a player misses. Follow our cast of characters as we set sail for Otari, a seaside lumber town on Kortos where every plank and tide tells a story and hides a few. Our tale begins a week prior to the Founders Festival. 4 unlikely heroes cross paths when the proprietor of the Otari Fishery, Tamily Tandaville, tasks them with figuring out what has been getting into her cellar and stealing all the fish she was saving for the festival. Pamora, played by Leanne, a Nagaji magus and aspiring master blacksmith who came to Otari chasing apprenticeship and the promise of Absalom. Jacal, played by Matt, a solitary fletchling ranger from the Immonwood, accompanied by his badger Chunt, drawn to town by its yearly Founders Festival. Decius, played by Twan, an automaton swashbuckler who earned his freedom in the arenas and now seeks glory on the high road. And Taro, played by Luke, a Kitsune bard and former pearl diver hungry for songs and stories. Legends whisper of ancient vaults beneath Otari. Will those whispers be beckoning the heroes from the Otari Fishery cellar, or is it just some hungry critters who found their way in? Prepare your dice. The Abomination Vaults await.
Jacal started us off with a crit. Then Pamora
30 damage
got
is
a crit,
insane.
and then Jacal got another crit, and then after all the rats got defeated, I was feeling like, hey, let me do a flashy flip, some parkour, and it was sick. It was
nailed it.
And I almost nailed it. I nailed it, and then the ground shifted beneath my feet, and here I lay, prone, thinking, damn, do my comrades think I'm cool?
It's only embarrassing if someone notices.
So everybody give me a perception check and let me know if you guys noticed. So Jacal definitely noticed.
Can I do a performance check to see if I can make it look like I meant to do that?
How do we take that off of private, or do we?
Because perception is one of those things that if you don't notice, you don't notice. I'll let you guys know for that type of stuff, knowledge checks, perception, stealth, because you guys don't actually know how well you do. Acrobatics, athletics, that type of stuff, you know how well you do. You know what I mean? In the real world. All right, so Pamora is too busy trying to figure out her own way down, apparently, to actually notice Decius even fell. But unfortunately for Decius, she is the only one that did not see you fall.
Really cool flip, Decius.
Decius, I told you to stop doing that.
I can't stop searching for perfection.
I'm gonna be low key. I didn't see it, you know.
I didn't get hurt. One day I'm gonna pull it off in battle. It's gonna look so sick.
It's the cape, right? You know that's why.
No, the cape adds to the flair and dramatic effect that I look for to install fear.
It certainly cushions the fall.
Horrible fashion design.
I don't fly though.
Obviously. I mean, I missed it. I just think you're laying on the ground for some reason.
Just taking a rest after that mighty battle we had.
No, I'm looking for fish scales to see if the rats dragged some fish this way.
Then why are you on your back? You're just looking up. Any fish on the ceiling? We're old friends. We've been traveling together. I can rag him like this.
I have a very wide field of vision. You've got to remember that.
I love how everybody's just standing at the top of the cliff, just looking down at him, 10 feet below them, just laying on his back.
Come down, the rocks are fine.
I should show him how it's done. I can hit half acrobatic, right?
You absolutely can. So it's not going to let you just drag over there because this is a 10-foot gap. So I have to do the thing.
A way to slither down.
Oh, can I stand up?
Because it looks like it's rigid.
You're stood up. So It only looks like it's rigid because it wants you to be able to see that there's a cliff there. It's a pretty sheer cliff, but it's only 10 feet.
And I'm like 8 feet long.
I mean, then you could probably just kind of.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, you could do that. You're still gonna have to give me either an acrobatics or an athletics check.
okay, that's what I was wondering. All right, so I want to do an athletics check.
So this one you should be able to see.
17. Okay.
Yeah, and so Pamora literally, you can describe how graceful it is. Since this is your character, I'm not even gonna do it for you. You got a 24. It was only you almost crit.
Yeah, so I pretty much tail first go down and slither along. Decided that as I catch the little nuns to reach the bottom, and then just over Decius, wondering why he's still laying on the ground.
I'm not laying on the ground. I was, but
Oh, you're back up? Okay.
I've moved on.
Okay.
Yeah, I've moved over to this area over here.
And as you get down here, you start to see that this area does not look. This is a cave structure right here. This is natural. This is obviously not something that was built for the cellar or covered over. This is a natural cave.
Are these mushrooms?
They are. That's what I was just about to say. And there are a bunch of massive semi-bioluminescent mushrooms, which is why it's not completely dark, which is why all of you guys with low light vision can actually see a little bit, is those mushrooms.
Taro, do you want to go next to get down there? Or do you want me to lower you with a rope, or are you going to jump?
I'm going to jump since it's only 10 feet and I'm pretty light on my feet. And on my acrobatics of +5, I'm going to jump.
So you are more than welcome to, but if you use athletics, a rope will give you a +5.
Okay. All right, then let's do that. Although if I don't jump and stick it, then Decius is going to be talking trash the rest of the time.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I feel like you might have to jump.
I really think I have to jump. I'm going to jump.
Be aware, the rocks are unsteady on the ground below you.
Yeah, but you're a big metal dude and I am a fox. So even if they move underneath me, I'm still rolling out.
Oh, he's out.
I rolled a 15 with a +5. I should be good.
Oh, yeah, he crushed it. I mean, Taro, you can describe if you did any flips. I mean, you did it with relative ease.
Yeah, that was a triple Lindsay. That was a triple Lindsay, and I just stepped out the landing. Superhero landing, nailed it.
If I had tears, I would cry because that was so beautiful. But I don't, so I won't.
Taro's following Decius to have a muse to write music about in adventures, and Taro's out here being Decius's muse on how to actually do flips down a cliff.
I'm almost upset I didn't gain on performance. That was so good.
I have to go next to get down there. So I got to pick up Chunt, and then I'm going to use acrobatics as well. So 14.
All right, and so with a 14, similarly to Decius, as you're making your way down, everything looks fine, everything looks good until you are flat on your back with Chunt standing on top of you, safe.
I wanted to make sure Chunt didn't get hurt, so I threw my body down so he could land on me. That was part of the plan.
Oh, is there something significant about the fact that the two larger characters stumbled? Is there something significant about those loose rocks?
The dice think there are.
Good enough for me.
Yeah, it's just typical cave floor. It's just happened to be there at off moments, I guess, because all you guys are pretty
Jacal.
dexterous.
Oh, he's a median, so I'm like, I think I said I was like going to be like 5'8", 5'9", not too big.
Heard.
Just like 160, 170 around there.
Heard.
On a good day.
Cool.
Because I live in the forest, so I'm a lot of protein in my diet and vegetables, so that's pretty much it.
Which makes a lot of sense. As you guys get down there, you see that there's a tunnel that heads north that progresses deeper into the cave. You can feel some moisture in the air, and you see that maybe the reason that those two slipped wasn't necessarily their weight, but it is a little bit damp down here. There's, some wind blowing out of that tunnel to the north, which, if you're caving, if it blows, it goes. So there's definitely...
Is it warm damp or cool damp?
It's cool damp. It is like the fall, but it's early fall and you're in a cave. So, the ground.
As a ranger, I should probably take the lead. Also, I have good dark vision, so I don't necessarily need to be in the way of the torch. So I should probably be so I should probably be scouting in front.
So
I'll say that to everybody. I should probably take the lead a little bit.
You want it? You got it, buddy.
I'm good with that.
Then
Yeah, I would be thinking I'd be walking ahead of everybody, looking to make sure I didn't see anywhere where anything's loose, where the ground doesn't fall away, things like that. Just basically making sure nothing's in front of us that's going to attack us, ambush us, those things.
Okay, yeah, you want to be searching for from what you're saying. Scouting will give you a bonus to initiative. Searching will give you like perception checks to let you know what's going on nearby.
Gotcha.
I take it that's the one that you want, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm shooting for, is the searching.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Okay, so are we ready to head out?
Yes, sir.
Jacal is, up in this general area searching. Before I tell him what he finds, what do you guys want to do?
I guess I'm looking on the ground for some like
Go ahead.
rat trails or like some dragging of a large amount of fish. Where did they go? Which way did they go, George?
I will roll you a perception check, and I will give you the results momentarily. Leanne, what are you thinking?
I feel like I'm distracted because I'm trying to collect some of these mushrooms in a small satchel for later.
Yeah, bet. So give me a nature check.
He said, "Ooh, these luminous mushrooms gonna come in handy."
We'll handle this first. I'm gonna throw an item into your inventory. You found some mushrooms. They seem like rare mushrooms that when you get to town or when you have some time, you are more than welcome to take to somebody or talk to somebody and try and find out what they are and what they can be used for. Offhand, you don't necessarily know, but you can tell that you don't see these mushrooms very often. They're just slightly different than the rest of the mushrooms.
Okay.
And because you've been in town for a while, that Magaloy, the owner and proprietor of the Crow's Cask, is a very well-known alchemist, and she will most likely know what they are and what they can be used for. And that leaves Taro. What are you up to while everybody starts heading down the hallway?
So just looking around, I mean, I'm a much shorter dude than everybody else. So these rats or whatever is down here has been moving in and out, and see if there's anything else dropped or anything useful or any signs that there's anything other than rats down in this area, because there's got to be the rats obviously have treaded through here quite a bit.
All right, yeah. So you give me a perception check.
Okay.
And now I'm going to go in a circle and let you guys know what you have noticed. Pamora, you got your mushrooms. First and foremost, Decius, as you are looking around on the ground, first and foremost, because you were the first one down here and you were laying on the ground when you first got down here, you can tell that the rats haven't been down here. There's no signs of the rats being down the cliff. You can see that this little passageway has been used, though. You don't know by what, you don't make out very well, but you can tell that you're not the first set of feet to step down here. Taro, you can tell that the feet that Decius sees are a tad bit smaller than you would expect to find. You also can see a spot on the cliff that you guys just came down that seems to have what could be little handholds to get up and down. And the ground there tends to be a bit more worn as well. That's about as much as you can make out.
Okay.
Jacal, you can see all the same tracks. You can make out that they are small humanoid-shaped creatures, whatever they are. But that is about all that you can make out of the tracks. But as you move deeper into the tunnel, it continues deeper underground, eventually opening into a much larger chamber, which has patches of a glowing blue fungus cling to the ceiling and just gives you a slight bit of this blue tinged light. And you can just barely make out. You can't tell exactly what it is, but there's a shimmering white textured, almost like ropes running between the stalagmites and the stalactites in the chamber that's in front of you. As you get closer, you can tell almost immediately that they look like webs.
They look like what?
Webs.
Webs.
Yes, but they're big.
All right, so as I look around, is there any cover anywhere that I can see? Like rocks to hide behind or anything like that? Or is it just pretty big and open?
I mean, there's some definite stalactites and stalagmites that are popping up and popping down in that cavern. None of them are, like tree-sized, but there's definitely some things that could be used as cover.
Gotcha. So what I think I want to do is I'm going to use the regular hand signs as like very hold. I think I will use, can I sneak in a little bit and just get a better look around?
Of course you can. Give me
Okay.
a stealth check.
So stealth, I have a +5 in stealth.
All right.
So I'm sneaking up like maybe 5-10 feet more so I can get a better look.
You have free movement. You can place your guy where you like to go.
Let's try it right about here. And then can I hit perception and look and see if I can see anything else?
You
Maybe
absolutely
higher
can.
up?
What you can actually do is seek.
Seek, got it. Seek.
All right. As you go in there and you sneak in and you look around this room, you can tell that this is a spider's lair. You can tell why the rats haven't come down here, even if they could, because you can see the bones of various creatures stuck to the webs up top still.
Okay, that was a perfect musical cue when you said bones. Just gotta point that out.
You see up top where all of the webs are most of the webs are coming out of and spreading throughout the room. In the center, a mass that is obviously a massive spider. You should be able to see it up there too.
Yep.
Yeah. And it hasn't noticed you. It's in that, like, you know how spiders are when their legs are really, really close up to their body, like covering their body.
Almost like he's taking a nap.
Yeah, just looks like a massive legs with a darker splotch in the center, just like stuck to the web about 20 feet up in the air.
Gotcha.
And you are very close to one of its web strands, but
I didn't touch it yet.
and you can see it with dark vision, so it's
Right.
not like,
Yeah, I wouldn't rub up against it or anything
yeah,
like that.
you don't have to roll
Okay.
against that. You knew it was spider webs. They looked like
Okay.
webs.
Gotcha. Okay, so I am going to turn around and make the motion, I point to my eyes, put up one finger, and point in the general direction of the spider. Hopefully people understand what that is.
You see one.
All I saw was, I see that you gave me the finger.
So you're going to be like a big shrug, and I'm just going to shake my head.
Don't speak ranger.
What are the other three of you doing now that you know there's something in that chamber up there?
Is there any way to tell if this thing has got any intellect or if it's just literally a giant spider?
You can give me
Nature check?
a recall knowledge check. You can either use nature, animal lore if you have it, or giant spider lore. So yeah, nature.
Okay, I'm gonna hit nature. I got a plus nothing, so it's gonna have to be what it is.
You know that it has 6 to 10 legs and extra eyes and extra legs, and sometimes they're furry.
Okay. Well, if it had 6, it's an insect. If it had 10, it's not a spider.
Yeah, but that's Luke. That's not Taro.
There.
Now, that's a secret role, but he is very uninformed about spiders.
Okay.
So Taro looked at the spider, did his thing, but there's still Decius and Pamora.
Can I do a nature check and collect a sample of the fungus that's in here too?
Yeah. Pamora's like, spider? Cool. Fungus? Better. So as you're trying to scrape this fungus off of the rock, it is the small bit that you want to collect is clinging to the rock so hard that when you go to take a sample, it tears and like breaks up into several little pieces and you aren't actually able to get any.
Oh, damn.
And Decius, what do you think, bud?
I can examine the web and see if I know if it's flammable.
You want to go up to the web and see if you can tell if it's flammable?
flammable.
So you can move up about here. We'll say you're careful not to actually touch it. And then you want to see if it is flammable. So for that, crafting or nature would be the choices. You have a +0 in both. Which one you feel more lucky about? From looking at it, you think with high enough heat, you could definitely light it on fire. But you also know, because it's a nature check, that if you were to hit it, any type of movement on it would, the spider would know and would be heading your way.
The spider would know if I let it on fire.
Yes.
And it would come my way.
Probably, yes.
So I guess I'm gonna ask the group, you wanna tackle whatever this multi-eyed, multi-legged thing is, or do we just turn around?
Well, the rats were not the main thing taking the fish. So unless we see fish in this web, it's probably not the spider. So we have to advance past this spider to figure out ultimately what the main quest was, which was to find out what's happening with the fish. So I don't know if we may be able to sneak around it, but we're probably going to have to deal with it.
Fred, you know I hate bugs.
I think they're delicious. I'm pretty sure fox eat bugs.
But you eat with your eyes first.
You actually moving that far forward?
You can, if you want.
Well, we haven't decided what we're doing.
That would have pretty much decided.
I did for us.
Yeah, no, that's my point. Like you have autonomy. It's your character.
If you roll up on it, we're gonna have to deal with it.
If you're like, yo, no, I don't like fucking spiders. I'm gonna walk right in the middle of that thing with my weapon drawn, and I'm gonna do the thing. You can do that. You don't have to feel any type of way about it either.
Can I also just walk into the middle of it, and since I'm holding the torch, put the torch up and it set the web on fire?
You can definitely attempt to set the web on fire.
Okay.
When you walk up there. 100%.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Let's fuck some shit up.
Pamora is going to walk forward with her torch. Give me a athletics check to toss the torch into the webbing and actually like get it stuck so it'll stay burning up in the webbing. And with a 19, that absolutely happens. It ends up being, that's a 19 on the die. So 26, you wedge it into where the spider is hiding, we'll say, because that's where the nexus of the web is, right? So you throw it up there. It lands and hits the spider. Lights the webs and the spider a little bit on fire, right? The web itself, it's got a little bit of a coating to it, right? It's a massive spider. It's got that, like, the sticky stuff on it. The flame is wedged directly into the nexus of that. So it's you're seeing it starting to actually catch and spread slowly but surely through the webs. And as it does, the spider crawls down out of that fire as fast as it can. Still is gonna take just 1 fire damage, and it is going to come down as fast as it can. And that fire is going to slowly spread out from that point every single turn, taking up a little bit more of that web's surface. But the spider is going to race down before the fire to try and meet you face to face. And when it hits the ground, everyone is going to roll initiative.
Quick question, just to make sure. Now that I've thrown the torch, does that automatically mean that I have 2 hands back on my weapon?
If you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah. But we'll probably call it here.
Okay.
We can roll initiative if you guys would like, but we'll save the actual combat.
Okay. I'll roll initiative. I'm going to still use stealth as my initiative.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah, I'll roll now. I put stealth.
Sure. And then T. So we will start whenever our next session is, at the beginning of combat, with Jacal going first, Decius second, Taro third, Pamora fourth, and that spider probably dead by then, to be totally honest with you.
Especially since he's going to be burning for 2 weeks.
On fire, yeah. All the webs will be gone.
And that wraps up this episode of Badgers, Bards, and Bad Decisions. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can keep up to date with the campaign. See you next time.